everybody, welcome back to Tag Along Tuesday. It is raining cats and dogs outside, probably a cat before too long because my cat likes to be involved in everything. And I thought this would be a great time to tackle a cute little tag. This is a little tag that I have done, fairly often. I think it's super cute. I'm going to pull it up so you can see it a little bit better. Has a little doorknob, which is just a metal finding that I have. I have a whole drawer of little metal pieces, and I thought that was cute because it looks like a doorknob. It's not. I have no idea what that goes to. Has a beautiful little, maybe a fairy on the front. This is Leanna Scraps, part of the Book of Shadows that I'm working on right now. So I will be sure to post that. On the back you have some coffee dyed paper, plenty of writing space there. Cute little butterfly. It opens like this, and then it opens like that. You have a beautiful fairy or goddess or princess or whatever you want to think of her as in the middle. So it looks a little bit more complicated than it is. It's really an easy peasy little card tag. So let's get busy. The supplies are relatively simple. You need some cardstock. This is cardstock that I happen to have, the Park Lane Tuxedos and Tiaras. It's all black and whites. So you can use any cardstock that coordinates with whatever project you're working on. Obviously, if you're working with pastels, use pastels. My pretty princesses in the middle are, and on the front are Leanna Scraps Dark Forest Junk Journal Kit. And actually, I didn't use this, but I just thought it was pretty and I printed it out, so disregard that second piece. We'll do something with that later. I need a piece of the coffee dyed paper. And the way that I did my cuts was I have a whole drawer of already made tags. I'm sure everybody does. So those are my doors. You need a heavy cardstock for the base. This is going to fit on top of that. And then I have a lightweight cardstock here that I used for my little door on the inside. I think that one's it. A little bit of washi tape, maybe a hole punch, some glues, scissors, pencil. Pretty simple. Not too bad at all. So let's work on this first one. The outside door here. I was looking down because my little pup just came up. The biter. Okay. So just kind of line that up. And you can have it closer to the edge. You can have it in the middle. This time, I don't know. I think I'm going to go just offset a little bit. And take your pencil, kind of outline that. I need some more lead to come out here. So we are in Northeast Ohio, and it is like a torrential flood out there. I don't know what's going on. The other night, I'm rounding this a little bit just because I like it more round, but you know what? It almost doesn't show, so don't sweat the small stuff. You want to flip this over. Decide which way you want it to open. In this case, I opened it that way. So this side here is going to be the side that stays. So I'll just put no, because I know not to cut here. So the other night I was coming home from working. Oh, no, I wasn't. I came home from, my daughter had to go to the hospital. She was not feeling good. And it was the first warm day we had, and I'm going to bring a cutting mat up because I don't want to cut through my background. So when we finally got out, the sun had finally come out. Finally, we saw sunshine, and it had melted all of the snow, which you think yay, but nay. It flooded all around my little town. There was no access whatsoever. I also forgot you're going to need a knife, some sort of cutter, whatever you prefer. So my little town was, all of the outskirts of my little town was underwater. So all around the outside of my little town, all the entry points into town were underwater. I had to actually go to the next town over to get in. So now we have rain on top of that. And I'm hoping that everything doesn't flood again. So all we're doing is trying to make the neatest cuts that you can make. The little curvy parts up here, obviously you have to kind of free will it. And if you don't want all of the little curves, honestly, you can just do a regular tag cut, because you just want a little door. It doesn't matter what shape it is. All right, let's see how we did. You kind of have to, it's kind of a perforation situation, so you gotta kind of see how tight your cuts are, which I'm not even gonna complain. And then because it's going to be black on black, I don't worry about doing this little bit of trimming. If you were doing like white on black or vice versa, you might notice. But my pattern is very hectic and crazy, so I don't think that will be too noticeable when it sits on its background. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I am talking about when you open it, you know, are all these little things going to show, but they really don't. And when it's closed, you can't see where I had to cut away some of the extra. One of the benefits of choosing a busy little background. Okay, so next step, lay that back out. Find your two cut points. We're not going to cut. And what we are going to do is just emboss that a little bit so that it will open easy. Like that. Then you know where your fold is going to be. Fairly well there. I'll make sure I'm straight. Yep, pretty straight. Pretty good. So that will open up like that. Then, because this part is going to actually show, you gotta go take off all of your pencil markings. And there we have a little door. This little door is going to sit right in there, and I always make the whatever color the background's going to be slightly larger. You don't have to, but it's just gives it more interest. We have to ink that, of course. I chose to ink in black this time. It's not something that I do very often. Use the glue gun, glue stick. I don't know why I always want to say glue gun. So I am curious to hear how everybody else is, how their weather is. Oh my. It's been like the longest winter. And I know a lot of, oh, cat number 2. See, your brother got thrown out, so you're next. So the next step is to make our little insert window. And we're going to do the same thing. This I made from a smaller tag, but as you can see, I cut off the edge a little bit too short. It wasn't quite as round, didn't like it. So I took it and I used it to make a new one and extend that corner. So I'm going to toss that so I don't make that mistake and grab it. Gotta move my thing a little bit there. Hold on a minute. Get back on there. Okay. So that's just gonna go, what I'll do is I will pin those two together. Well, if I can grab hold of it, I'm gonna pin these two together and they will just simply be used for making window tags. And like I said, these are like $1.99 a pack at the dollar store or wherever. That definitely looks crooked to me. Okay, let's see if I can line that up a little bit better than that. I think that's a little better. Sorry about that. I mean, it's part of the world of crafting. Much better. So what we're going to do here is I like one side to open one way, one side to open the other. So this is going to be my hinge here. So I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to use my cutter. This is the tricky part on both of these little doors. It's just being neat. And not having a guide. Now, another alternative is, I know that Sizzix has a set of tags that you can buy and cut. So you could cut it, the whole thing out, cut your little paper just right, set your Sizzix in there, cut it out, and then take washi tape and put the washi tape where you cut it out to act as a hinge. You could use other paper, like a contrasting paper. I like to cut it. I don't know why. I don't have a reason. I just like to cut it. I actually have done it with the little hinge made out of washi tape. So there's nothing wrong with it. It actually still works fine. All right, here's the test. Did I get there close enough? A little bit here. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. A little sketchy here. Yep, made it. Okay. I'll line this up and run my embossing tool down it. Oop, not that one, too big. Like so. Take off all my little pencil marks. This little window here is a little bit more fragile. So I would say handle with care. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it like this because the back of it is getting glued down, so I don't have to worry about smudging up on the other side there. Now where I made my embossing mark, make sure it opens up easily, and it does. I think I'm running low on the ink. So I may have to make another trip to Michael's or somewhere fun. Which ink leads to paper, leads to tools, leads to stickers. You know how that works. Okay, we are all inked up. So this is going to sit inside here like that. Like so. And what we need is something inside that window. What do I have? That's very pretty, huh? I think I'm going to use her. So I want to get her ears, her wings, try to get all that in there. And the easiest way to do it is just to go ahead and mount your glue. So I'm going to open that up so I can see good. And I'm going to take that bottom off. I'll peel that back just a little bit because it's really hard to get to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink at an angle so that I'm hitting that back paper. She is going to go right there. I'm going to take off some of those corners because they're just really sharp. Oh my goodness. Whew, took all my strength. Okay. Then we're just going to glue it. That is the most complicated part. Next comes the fun part. Get my sheet over here. I like to change things up a little bit. I did use that other girl last time, so this time I think I'm going to use this lady here. of the whatever it would be there, henna or even white tattoo. Really pretty. She has really beautiful work. In her Etsy store. I mean, just really pretty. Well, it went way too big. That's okay though. We can trim down a little bit. That is. Yep, it will not interfere with our opening and closing. I don't know, I think I'm going to go with my velvet. I like to leave that little bit of black there. I can still see it. And then when this dries, we'll trim it because it's a little crazy. I have this pretty little pink lace. And I also have the one that I used on the last one, which is kind of subtle. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that again. Might as well. And anytime you're working with lace to paper, you want to use Fabri-Tac. I take my Fabri-Tac out like a lot of people do, and I put it in cake decorating bottles because that way you get that fine point. I never really talk about that, but I'm always talking about Fabri-Tac, and then I never actually show my container, which is not the Fabri-Tac container. Tuck her right under there. So I do like to use a little piece of washi tape underneath whatever the doorknob is going to be, whatever metal finding I have laying around on in my desk. So I take a little piece of really strong washi tape, and if it's not, then I reinforce it with some glue, and I slip it under here because I like it to stick out. Like so. Wrap it over. And then I have a little flap there. And even though it blends, you can still see it. Sorry for bumping the camera. I think for this one, I'm just going to use this little guy right here. That just needs a second to set. So while we're doing that, on the inside of this one, I used a little cutout and a little bit of lace. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting that stuff ready. And I use this real pretty sheer lace here. A ribbon that's not a lace. But it is super thin, so I don't have to worry about it bulking of the card too much and not being able to open it. So I'm just going to cut a little ribbon point here and kind of figure out how much I need. And a little ribbon point on this side. So that'll lay in there. A little bit of fancy lace. And I did cut out a little circle there. So let me see if I have something that would make a cute circle. This is very pretty. Oh yeah, I think that's cute. Got that, and we got that. And what else do we want to put in there? I think we're good for that. I used this little piece of lace off of a curtain. I had bought too many curtains for the room that I was doing, and I held on to it for way too long to return it. So I'm like, it's okay. It's going to a good place. I think the little doorknob is set enough. I feel comfortable with moving it. And then I'm going to lay down this ribbon right over here. And the thing about ribbon, so you don't get that weird globby stainy look, kind of smooth that with your finger. Kind of spreads it out a little bit. Lay that over top of it. And it makes it not so globby and glunky. I don't think glunky is a word, but you know what I'm saying. This little puppy right there. Gotta figure out what we're gonna do here. And I'll let that dry just a little bit so it doesn't stick to the top. And the top doesn't quite close smoothly, but once it's in the journal, it will lay flat. Move that one back out of the way. Okay, so on the back, I just took a piece of paper that I had coffee dyed. And I cut this just a little bit shorter. Okay. being careful because my little doorknob isn't quite dry, but it's pretty close, but okay. On my other little fairy, I put a real pretty little butterfly on there, right up in that corner. So I think I might do the same thing again. Some of these are fussy cuts. Some of them are just ones that I've purchased. I don't know. Do I like that? No. Now I think we need a bright splash of color. Actually, that's the same one that I used, and I absolutely loved it, so I think I'm going to use it again. I'm going to angle it so that I'm not covering up all of her head. And I'm okay with it hanging over because I kind of like that anyhow. Make sure I didn't get any underneath. I didn't, but I do have a big old glue stream. So my other one, I sewed around the whole outside. I don't know that I'm going to do that with this one, but I just wanted to let you know that that option is always there. But I think what I am going to do, flip over, is put another little circle down on the back. Now you can decorate these however you want. You can go completely over the top crazy. You can do less, but the basic construction is there now. And as you can see, not that hard. And that is our little tag for Tuesday. Might as well show them both. Oh, it's not the same butterfly. Wow, was way off. Super cute. Please like and subscribe, and any questions or any comments, please leave them, and I will get back to you. Thank you. And make it that way. That's an alter. My blade fell out. I have no idea where it went. That's gonna hurt when I step on that. Please like and subscribe, or yeah, you can describe.